Hello and welcome to Hockey Hypothetical, serious answers to silly questions. Each episode we will be taking preposterous scenarios that we've made up from the world of hockey and trying to produce genuine responses to the what-if questions. My name is Jonathan Fernley, I'm here with Stephen Dowse, and Dowse, this is our Christmas special, our end of series special, so we're doing something a little bit different today.
Ooh.
One of the hypotheticals we've had in mind for a while is, would a team of A beat a team of B? And we'd have a look at a couple of players and just think, if this entire team was made up of Robert Dowd, would it beat an entire team made up of Ben O'Connor?
Yeah.
But rather than us picking the players, we've thrown it out to Twitter and asked people to suggest their favourite players or some of their sort of most iconic players, people that they've enjoyed watching during the Elite League era. We've had loads of suggestions. We couldn't pick them all because we needed to have a straight knockout. So we've gone with 16 of what we think are the best suggestions. We're going to randomly draw them against each other, and we're going to decide who wins. And we'll go through all the way to a final to decide who would be the best player to have on your team if your team was a clone of just that player. So in order to do the draw, we're going to use a piece of online software that I use a lot in my teaching called wheeldecide.com. It basically creates a roulette wheel. You're going to be able to hear it clicking around as it goes. We put all the players' names in there. So this is going to be done as randomly as we can do it. And when the two players have been drawn against it, we'll discuss it and we'll see who goes through to the next round.
Amazing. Can I also say this is the closest I'll ever get to Wheel of Fortune, so I'm kind of excited right now.
We're also not going to tell you before who's still on the wheel,
yes.
So it should be a nice surprise for you when the players come through.
Okay, so number 1 being drawn by Peter Beardsley. That's naff. I love it. Steve Munn.
So Steve Munn will play. Home advantage for Steve.
Jeremy Tendler.
Oh, it's a classic all-out defenseman against all-out forward.
You say all-out defenseman. I've seen him score some brilliant goals, Steve Munn.
I've seen him score 2. They were both in the NIC.
And they were both very good.
They were.
I mean, Jeremy Tendler is the Greek god of goals, isn't he?
Yeah. That's all he did.
Was score fantastic
40 times
goals.
a season.
Yeah. But would a team of Steve Munns keep a team of Jeremy Tendlers quiet?
I think the team of Steve Munns would be very well organised.
Incredibly.
And they would pick their time to go forward. Because once they do go forward, Tendler wasn't known for his back-checking.
No.
So if the Munns want to, they can just jailbreak and they've got a 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 5-on-1.
Sorry, the
going
Munns.
the other way.
That's a great name. The Munns.
Yeah.
Attack of the Munns. I agree with that because I think Steve Munns, that the Munns would be great defensively, but also how frustrated would Jeremy Tendler get with himself about his own poor passing, his own inability to find him when he was open?
Well, he was a surprisingly good penalty killer in terms of being able to pinch the puck and go short-handed the other way.
Yeah.
So if he is a little bit indisciplined, that might help himself.
that might help himself.
His best route might be to score that individual breakaway.
Can you imagine how bored the defensive Jeremy Tendlers would be on the blue line, just demanding the puck all the time?
They're joining the rush.
Yeah? So this is easily snuffed out.
Tendlers have a speed advantage.
Yes, they do.
The Munns have a physicality advantage.
Okay.
They are a tougher team than the Tendlers, but the Tendlers have better hair.
It's Jeremy Tendler then, isn't it?
No, Steve Munn would win that.
Yeah. Better hair is not a reason to win a hockey game.
It's not, but
it's a good one.
It is. The other thing we've got to remember, how good Steve Munn in goal? How good is Jeremy Tendler in goal?
I think Steve Munn's a rock in goal.
He's a shot blocker, isn't he?
Yeah,
That's what he does.
Yeah. Steve Munn.
Steve Munn goes through.
I think it's a closer game than you think, though. I think there's only one goal in it. Okay. So Steve Munn has gone through. Here comes the next draw. That's a really naff sound effect. I really enjoy it. It's Andrew Hoffman.
He's going to be hard to beat. Whoever this is, it's going to be hard to beat.
David Clark. Now, I would like to make a very strong argument as to why David Clark would beat a team of Andrew Hoffmans.
Go on then, let's hear it.
That team of Andrew Hoffmans would eventually find themselves in the penalty box. Yeah?
5 different David Clark slapshots to choose from.
That's what I'm thinking. You know, how do you defend that on the penalty kill? Just that solo stick held in the air in 5 different ways.
But someone's got to have the stick on the ice to pass it. So you've got to have 4 in the air and 1 to feed it.
Fine, that works.
Just line them up like a rainbow.
Yeah.
And which one's it going to be?
Yeah.
It's a bit like in field hockey when they're all lined up on the edge of the D for the penalty corner.
Absolutely.
Which one's going to step forward and drag flick it?
Absolutely.
Which of the David Clarks is going to put it in the top corner? Because it is going in the top corner.
It is going in the top. He's never missed one of those.
No, never.
Statistically, he never missed a shot on goal.
No, every time he had a shot on the power play, he scored.
Yeah, every single time. It's an unreal record when you think about it. Yeah. I don't think it'll ever be broken. So yeah, I think if the Hoffmans have to stay out of the box, because I think the moment they go in, they concede heavily and often and heavily.
But Hotham was one of the best players the Elite League has ever seen as a defenseman and as an attacking defenseman. How's David Clark getting the puck off him?
That's an excellent question. One I would say is outside the scope of our investigation today. That's a fair point.
Is David Clark... Well, David Clark can look after himself.
Yeah.
So physically, I think this is a reasonable matchup.
I think so.
But it needs to be peak David Clark when there's a bit more speed to his game.
Mm-hmm. But then if you're talking about peak Andrew Hotham...
Hotham can shift when he wants to, when he moves. He's a good skater.
You think the skill of Hotham just eventually wins out here?
I think for this particular type of play, Clark is a little one-dimensional.
Yeah.
As brilliant as that dimension is, I think Hotham brings more and could win in more ways.
I have to sadly agree with you. Hotham through.
Hotham is through. So 2 defensemen through so far.
It's not bad, is it? Ashley Tate.
Ashley Tate. Right.
Versus... Robert Dowd.
Okay.
Right.
So again, it's got to be peak Ashley Tate, not 42-year-old Ashley Tate.
And Ashley Tate could do everything. But at the same time, one of the frustrations of Ashley Tate is you felt like he'd done nothing all game. And he did
all the little things.
He did all the little things really, really well.
Particularly later on in his career.
Yeah. Oh, this is a hard one.
It is.
A team of Robert Dowds defensively?
At their absolute peak, who would you take? For your team, if you can only have one of them. Is peak Ashley Tate better than peak Robert Dowd? When was peak Robert Dowd? Is Belfast year?
I'd say he's...
Or a couple of years ago?
I mean, I still say he's there. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't... He's on higher lines than he's ever been, than when he was at Belfast or a couple of years ago. I think we're seeing a bit of peak Robert Dowd.
I think...
Maybe energy-wise.
Yeah, I think Ashley Tate's Team Tate is going to be probably slightly better organised defensively. But I like Robert Dowd's puck retrieval skills. No better stick lift around.
No.
If you're skating out of the zone, Robert Dowd's chasing you, he will lift the stick and pinch the puck from you.
Best backhand in the league?
Yes.
Arguably.
Absolutely. I would agree that I've not seen a better one.
Team Tate would be the scourge of the penalty box. It's an often regarded fact that every time he went into a penalty box, water bottles would fly, and a team of them would destroy the equipment. So the off-ice officials aren't going to like Team Tate too much.
I think Team Tate has got the nous to win this one.
Do you think that's what it comes down to?
I think he'd be a better goalie as well. I'm not sure Dowd's a goalie.
This is where we find out Robert actually had many, many years in his juniors as an outstanding netminder. He'll have you know. This is I think this goes to penalties.
In which case, Dowd would win it on penalties.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. We need to agree. This is like Bake Off. We need to agree.
We need to agree.
You need to... Okay, I'm going to tell you why it definitely should be Ashley Tate, and you tell me why it should be definitely Robert Dowd.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. It should definitely be Ashley Tate, because he's done it at all levels in terms of winning things. So there's definitely the DNA in there. I think he may just slightly edge it in terms of positionally. I think he might edge it, and that would win over the energy and the aggression of Robert Dowd.
But Dowd's faster, he'll just skate past you.
Robert Dowd wins.
So Dowd is through. Our first forward into the last 8.
It's the Mayor of Cardiff.
Brad Voth. Okay, this is going to be a different type of matchup then. We've got our goal scorer and an enforcer.
Vinny Scarcella.
Okay, so we've got a modern player, and we've got a player from a bit further back in the Elite League. Voth was a 20-goal scorer. You cannot discount him when you're thinking about Brad Voth. The perception from outside Cardiff is, he's a goon, he's a late, dirty hits. He scored goals.
Yeah.
A team of Brad Voths is going to score goals, and you're not going to want to play against them.
No.
Is Scarzella going to be brave enough to go up against that line?
I don't think there are many human beings on the planet brave enough to go up against the Voths. What's a multiple of a Voth? For five? A Vafe? But anyway, yes. That is a fearsome unit coming at you down the line.
It is, and you have to remember that Voth is going to... he did miss a lot of games through suspension. So his records, points-wise, on a per-game basis, are right up there. When you're certainly comparing him to, to other enforcers.
Yeah.
Scarzella he's the top player.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
I think
it's just how he's going to cope going against that type of opponent.
The thing is with Voth, if you had a bit of speed about you, you could normally leave him a bit. He didn't like getting, he liked players his type, if that makes any sense. His build, because he could rough you and he can move you about. I think Vinny Scarcella wins this because I think Brad Voth the Voths are spending too much time in the penalty box.
The Scarcellas should just be able to pass him to death.
Yeah.
I mean, he's way more than a point-a-game player. And it's mainly... He got 20-odd goals a couple of times, but it's mainly assists with Scarcella. So when he's got the puck, just that puck movement is going to be too much for the Voths, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Voths will get frustrated, they'll take penalties, and then it's power play time, and it's all over.
Vinny Scarcella wins.
Scarcella is through.
David Ling.
David Ling. Another player's going to be very difficult to get the puck off.
Speaking of which, Levi Nelson.
If you want two people that are going to agitate each other to death...
Can you imagine?
This is going to be the chippiest of all games.
They're just going to rat at each other for the entirety of the game, aren't they?
They are.
Who does that favour?
It favours David Ling because he's a better player than Levi Nelson.
Oh, no, he's got the hustle of Levi Nelson.
Nobody can do on the puck what David Ling does with the puck.
Levi Nelson won a playoff on one leg. On one leg.
Yeah, David Ling won the lot. David Ling is a better player than Levi Nelson. That's no Sheffield fan can argue otherwise. As much as Levi Nelson did for the Steelers, and as much as Steelers fans miss him and want him back, David Ling's a better hockey player.
You think 5 David Lings then would
How are you getting the puck off him? Because David Ling can finish, and David Ling can find any pass.
There would be an element where you'd be screaming, "He's just spinning the puck on a stick, just take it," wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Nelson's might lose his rag before Ling does.
That's fair. I'm a huge Nelson mark, you know me.
Of course,
I think he's
me
fantastic,
too.
but I think I've got to give you that. I think David Ling has got through.
Yeah. So Ling joins Munn, Hotham, Dowd and Scarcella.
And up steps Robbie Sandrock.
Again, we talked about David Ling's slap shots. Where's Robbie Sandrock to tee a few up?
Or Adam Calder.
Oh, that's a tough draw for Sandrock, isn't it?
I mean, Adam Calder is Mr. Hockey for many people. For many people, especially in one part of the world, he's something else, and he was something else to watch and play.
Adam Calder's record goes up against any player that's played in the Elite League.
Yeah.
Absolutely anyone's. And if we were just doing a who's the best Elite League player of all time, Calder is in the final discussion.
Yes, he is.
Sandrock's great and all.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of a very, very good Belfast team. He was a very, very good defenseman.
Mm.
But Adam Calder's a superior player.
Yeah.
And with so much attacking talent, I don't think a defenseman like Sandrock.
It's a tough first round, this, isn't it?
It is.
For Sandrock. You'd expect him to go deep into the draw.
Yeah, and again, I think, if Sandro could face David Clark,